Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's doing great out there. Chris Chow's back again with ya. And what is it today? It's a game day, baby. What do we got? We got the Las Vegas Raiders going up against the LA Rams. And I want to discuss something a little bit different today because we got a dynamic duo in Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs. These guys are absolutely tearing up the league right now. Last 4 and 5 games, they have been unstoppable. And they should continue once again on Thursday night versus the oft-injured Rams. They have nobody left, and I mean, these guys should absolutely feast, even though it is a short week. So let's break it down, waste no time for you, let you know what you're in for on Thursday Night Football. So let's dive straight into the player spotlight because, I mean, it's just gorgeous. Josh Jacobs, running back, Davante Adams, wide receiver. Last 4 games for a Josh Jacobs. I mean, these numbers are absolutely ridiculous. These guys are playing out of their damn minds. And I mean, it's all to the benefit of all of us fantasy owners that have them. I have shares of both these individuals. Hope you guys as well. Last 4 games for Josh Jacobs, 104 attempts, 560 yards, 4 touchdowns, adds 17 receptions for 159 yards receiving. Good enough for 102.4 fantasy points, half PPR, if you can believe it. That is just ridiculous point productivity in the last 4 games. Josh Jacobs currently is the number 1 running back overall in all of fantasy football in half PPR. You can't hate that. It is so good right now. He's dealing with a calf injury. What calf? He doesn't even need a leg at this point. He can do it with 1. He is just absolutely unstoppable. Where Davante Adams, his last 5 games are even better. It's 67 targets, 41 receptions for 664 yards and 7 receiving touchdowns. Crazy, absolutely nuts numbers for both these men. Derek Carr's feeding Davante Adams. There is nobody left. Hunter Renfrow went to the injured reserve. Darren Waller went to injured reserve. Josh McDaniels finally understanding that if he just feeds the thoroughbreds on this team, you're going to see productivity come. And this is what we're enjoying right now. Davante Adams, 128.9 fantasy points in those last 5 games, where Jacobs 102. That's over 230 fantasy points from these 2 guys in the last 5 games alone. Overall wide receiver 1 and the overall RB1 in fantasy football, half PPR. This is absolutely crazy. I don't remember the last time we saw both RB1 and wide receiver 1 this late in the season coming from the same team that is not in the playoffs. It's flabbergasting, man. I'm crazy right now. It's so good. You got to love what these 2 individuals are doing right now. But let's talk about start-sit for these Las Vegas Raiders. And I apologize for my voice. I have lost it. Apparently, I talk too much, as some people say. But Derek Carr, he is a low-risk play right now. They're starting to figure it out just a little bit. Like I said, Josh McDaniels is starting to figure it out a little bit. He's saying, you know what, I'm just going to feed my best players and see what we can do. And they are winning ball games, and they are starting to move the ball down the field. Derek Carr is definitely a low-risk play for me, especially going up against this Rams defense that, again, will be without Aaron Donald. Yes, they played better last week versus the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams defense did, but the Vegas Raiders, they're starting to figure some stuff out, and it's off the backs of a Josh Jacobs, who is a low-risk play. I was going to hook him up with a stud start, but that calf injury does concern you just a little bit. Yes, he's played on it in 2 straight contests, finished both games, and done very, very well for y'all. But, I mean, what if? That's the only caveat. What if he does tweak it enough where he can't continue on a short week? That's why I got low risk over a stud start right now. But Josh Jacobs, he's playing as of today that we know of. He does draw the questionable tag, but he will be playing in this contest. He is definitely fire him up at all costs. Man, Amir Abdullah, he gets a high risk. He's the, change of pace back. The only, like I said, the only caveat is if Josh Jacobs does go down with injury in this game, then Amir Abdullah would see that uptick in volume and touches and in the pass game in PPR upside. However, I am not trusting it in this game whatsoever. High risk. Even if he does score, you're not touching that. Davante Adams, stud start of the week. Once again, this man cannot be stopped right now. And with no other secondary pieces outside of a Foster Moreau, Mac Hollins does have boomer bust potential. But right now, we got stud start for Davante Adams. He should again have a very good day. I mean, they're targeting him ridiculously right now. Like I said, 67 targets in the last 5 games. That's crazy talk when it comes to volume upside for your top wide receiver. Mac Hollins, like I said, boomer bust. He's got almost 100 points, 97.3 half PPR points. That's pretty good for a secondary piece, wide receiver in an offense, but he is very hard to trust, especially on a short week. We may see them go to him a little bit more to, combat the short week ailments for Adams and Jacobs, but it is boomer bust nonetheless. He may get 5 to 6 targets in this contest. Will he score a touchdown? Will he not? That's kind of what you're seeing. If you're stuck because it is bye week hell this week, once again, I do not hate starting a Mac Hollins versus the Rams defense that is susceptible to giving up plays, especially with Ramsey not traveling with the number 1 wide receiver. You better damn well sure know they're going to be moving Davante Adams around to get the matchup without a Jalen Ramsey on him. Keelan Cole, high risk. He's not part of this offense right now, which is kind of interesting. You think they would try it every now and then, but like I said, McDaniels is force-feeding his studs, and it's going pretty well the last couple of weeks. Foster Moreau, he gets TD upside once again, and that's the MO, man. It's going to be, nickel and dime chunk plays down the field with Jacobs and Adams, and then in the red zone, Foster Moreau might get lucky and finish off the drive with a touchdown. He is relatively safe this week, I do believe, to play. The Rams do struggle at times to cover the tight end spot, so Foster Moreau, if you have no other options and you've been streaming like I have, Foster Moreau is a start for me. The Los Angeles Rams, like I said, they're in a boatload of hurt and hell when it comes to injuries. You got Jalen Wolford on the, he was injured as well. He's now the starting quarterback. The Rams picked up Baker Mayfield off the waiver wire, the release from the Carolina Panthers. He's obviously not going to be able to play in this contest coming, to the Rams just the last couple days. But Wolford looked okay. He's got some rushing upside, 17.8 points so far. I mean, that was a decent showing. And with the rushing aptitude, he is going to throw you interceptions. He may fumble the ball a little bit, especially with Max Crosby coming after him. It could be a long day for this man, so you got to understand what he's got in for him. But mid-level risk, I would not play him. I'm just putting the risk level on it to say that he could get you 15 points if you are in deeper leagues and you needed a quarterback. But, I mean, I do not recommend starting a Wolford versus the Raiders defense. Cam Akers, he is back into at least having breaths of life for fantasy football. 52.7 points. He's got some volume upside once again. We saw Sean McVay's feeding the man, and he's going to eventually get point productivity. He found his way into the end zone. While this Raiders defense isn't overly abundant with great talent at this point, they've been underachieving. You could play a Cam Akers as your flex or RB3 this week because the touchdown and volume upside is definitely there. If they can move the ball, which has been seen against this Raiders defense, I think that Cam Akers could find himself in the end zone, absolutely. Kyron Williams does pull a high-level risk. I thought by now we would have seen a little bit more PPR upside from this man. Just not happening right now. McVay doesn't trust it. He's going back to the well with Cam Akers. They hated him. They wanted to trade Cam Akers, and now all of a sudden he's back to being the running back 1 because of all these injuries. Van Jefferson, mid-level risk. They got to throw to somebody. No Cooper Kupp, no Allen Robinson. Van Jefferson is my guy. I love this guy. Have scouted him for a very long time. I believe in the skill set. It's just, injuries basically derailed this whole season. Now he's basically the number 1 wide receiver in this offense. I mean, he's going to see top-end coverage, but I still like a Van Jefferson eventually to, be a secondary piece in this Rams offense. He's got a mid-level risk this week. I do not like the start because there's too many variables for me to say, but I will not be surprised. I'll say it right now. If Van Jefferson finds his way to at least 5 receptions and a touchdown this week. Brandon Powell, he was a surprise last week. He started getting a pretty decent volume share, 27.8 points. And, I mean, you need some explosive ability, and that's what Powell gives you. Same with Tutu Atwell. They're going to try to go deep. They're going to try to, get the ball in these individuals' hands, and they're going to try to, get yards after the catch. That's the MO for Powell and Tutu Atwell, where Tutu can take the top off of a defense. I mean, he's made of glass. So one hit, and he's out of there. where Powell, I think, is a little bit more steady, where he could get some PPR value. Again, flex option, flex appeal for a Powell this week. Also mid-level risk with PPR upside from a Wolford. We got Ben Skoranek, and I mean, it was supposed to be Cooper Kupp 2.0, right? I mean, who was saying that? It wasn't me. But he's definitely not Cooper Kupp 2.0. He's not even Cooper Kupp, 100.0. Get him out, man. I mean, I thought PPR upside would have been here for this man, but it just ain't coming to fruition. 51.6 points. They are looking in other directions, like I said, with a Van Jefferson, with a Powell, and a Tutu Atwell for the, volume and target share from this offense right now. So, Skoranek, you can get up out of here, sir, because nobody's playing your services. Tyler Higbee, high-level risk. I don't like it. The one thing I said last week with Higbee was there was potential for volume, because with inexperienced quarterbacks, they typically like to find the check down option, and that usually is the tight end, the safety blanket option, the short routes. Just not happening, man. 2 points or something in 2.4 points in half PPR for a Higbee last week. I don't like it to start this week either, even though there is potential always for Higbee. It's just too volatile to trust. For me this week, keep him on your bench as well as a high risk. Let's talk a little BetUS. I mean, if you guys are point spread junkies, you guys like to make some money on some bets, go to BetUS, man. 125 sign up today. 125% sign up bonus up to $2,500. Use promo code COVER1 to get in. And why do I bring that up? Because we're talking about Thursday night football, and my game prediction, the Vegas Raiders, they are favored by 6.5 points on BetUS. So, I mean, here we go. I'm taking the Raiders right off the bat, man. This feels like easy money. Yes, it's a short week. Yes, the Rams did play Seattle very well. Yes, they're going to probably challenge again because Sean McVay is that good of a coach. He's going to be able to at least pull the most out of the talent he does have currently on this roster. However, I do like what Josh McDaniels is doing. He's finally getting out of his own way. Stop being overly, attempting to be creative. Force feed your stars, and that's what he's doing. Derek Carr is throwing the ball very well right now. The offensive line is blocking very well. And I mean, what else can you say? The Rams defense, they're without Aaron Donald. Anybody has a shot on this defense without an Aaron Donald. Jalen Ramsey has been getting cooked by basically on the weekly now. He's got to be checked out. He wants this season to end. So you got to believe Davante Adams is going to have another huge contest where Josh Jacobs should be able to find holes to gallop through, barring any injury, again, re-injury on that calf, which I don't think is going to happen. He should be just fine. I'm taking the Las Vegas Raiders to win this contest 28-17. Should be entertaining nonetheless. I mean, should be some good point productivity, should be some good plays, but I'm taking the Raiders to win this contest over the Rams on Thursday night football. So there it is, man. The start of week number 14, fantasy football playoffs right around the corner on the horizon. We got to get these wins, man. If you guys are in 6, 7, 8 seed, if you still got playoff leagues where there's 8 teams, we can still get there if you're on the bubble, because I'm telling you, there are a lot of good, games this week to get you there. Bye week hell is coming, so stay tuned for Saturday start-sit videos. I got you covered in that respect, but nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your start-sit questions, give me your thoughts. Who do you think's going to win this game? Give me your prediction. Just throw it in the comments and smash that like button for us. Help us grow this channel as we just started for Cover 1 Fantasy Football. But nevertheless, we'll see you next time. I am out.